we believed lies and that we acted upon them and that we allowed those lies to shape our being and our personhood and our identity.
I don't know about you, but at the moment, America feels like a complete fever dream. I've been seeing so many videos coming out from Coachella recently that really highlight the insane disparities between normal everyday people and then like the influencer elites and just the rich people in general. Something that as a British person, I look at it through a lens of minor disdain, but also very large amounts of sympathy for the normal people living in America. And other than Coachella, the only things I've seen on my For You page at the minute from America is the hashtag Leaving MAGA. And I've done a very large amount of deep dives on the Leaving MAGA because it's one of those things that I find so unbelievably interesting because I have no idea what goes on in Trump supporters' minds. I have no idea, purely because they're one of those groups of people that to me feel I'm so far disconnected from them in every aspect that it's impossible for me to comprehend the thoughts that run through their head. But Leaving MAGA has given me an opportunity to kind of see their reasoning as to why they were voting for Trump in the past and now why they're not. There's one TikTok page in particular called Leaving MAGA that I'm going to get a lot of sources from, but you can just search it on TikTok and there's hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of videos of people saying, oh, I voted for Trump in 2016 or I voted for Trump in 2024 and now I regret it, here's why. The reception of these videos is incredibly polarizing, but the majority of comments on videos like these are people saying, I have no sympathy for you. I'm going to read some of the comments that I have seen because they are honestly. So this one says, we don't care and you're not welcome back. You destroyed this country because of your ignorance. Now enjoy it. You let the cancer in and now it's killing you. You've hurt many innocent people. Too late. Better late than never. And then someone replied with, nah, it's too late already. They all love Trump's gross, racist, sexist bullshit until his policies affected them personally. Cut the crocodile tears, you absolute flops. I'm not sure what this guy's saying, but he said, lol, are all the fake MAGAs. No one is leaving MAGA, literally got everything they asked for. And that's where this conversation requires a level of niche outlook that I think a lot of people aren't providing. Because while I do very, very, very much struggle to have any ounce of sympathy for these individuals, and I have posted a TikTok about that before. I've posted a TikTok about this. If you don't follow me on TikTok, it's The Alt Perspective. And I have posted a video about this before of me saying basically, guys, you were told exactly what was going to happen and now it's happening and you hate it. Sucks to suck. Like I struggle to have any sympathy. But I also think that these are normal everyday people who are now suffering. And you kind of have to take it as they did and said absolutely ridiculous, stupid things that were backed with no real sufficient proof that anything was going to get any better. Okay, they just blindly believed this man who is a convicted felon, who is a horrible, horrible individual and rather stupid. But also they are now having their lives ruined. You have to kind of balance it out. And you can add a third point. Which is that MAGA's basically a cult at this point with a dictator as its leader. It is hard to turn away from it. It's hard to leave it, especially if your family is MAGA. I saw one particular video from this girl who was saying like, Trump supporters who are no longer Trump supporters, why did you change your mind? And one of the comments really stood out to me. And it was this girl saying that her family voted for Trump and they were going to disown her if she didn't vote for Trump as well. And now she feels incredibly guilty for it and massively, regrets her vote. How did I not think of that word? That's an entirely different can of worms than what I'm going to be focusing on, because what I'm going to be focusing on is the people who are now turning around saying, we were lied to. He's actually a bad person. He didn't do anything that he said he was going to do. We were lied to. With the most amount of sympathy that I can muster up, we all knew you were being lied to. How come every other person could see it other than you? This is a video that I saw this morning from the Leaving MAGA page.
Hey everybody, Rich coming to you here at leavingmaga.org. I want to make a particular appeal today to MAGA Americans. I really don't believe that what is happening in our country now is something that you want. But I understand that it's not a natural act for us to admit that we believed lies and that we acted upon them and that we allowed those lies to shape our being and our personhood and our identity. And Leaving MAGA does not judge you. We do not ostracize those who have doubts, you are welcome with us at our community.
Trump said he loves the uneducated. And at the end of the day, even if you're now saying, oh my God, we were lied to. Oh my God, he's actually a bad person. He actually lied to us. It still worked. You were still manipulated by him, and you were manipulated. But every single other person, not just in America, in the world, could see that you were being lied to and that you were being manipulated. And not only that, they were telling you over and over and over again, every single day, they were telling you, he's lying. He's lying to you. That's not going to happen. That's not going to work out the way you want it to. Do not vote for him. And now you're going, my God, guys, we were lied to. Obviously, and every other person in the world could see it other than you. When Trump said he loves the uneducated, he didn't just mean all the diehard MAGA fans that are going to be MAGA, MAGA, MAGA forever and Trump lovers forever and are going to vote for him. They meant people who, when everyone else was turning to them and offering them a hand and saying, hey, listen, we can tell you exactly what's going to happen and who you should vote for instead and exactly what you should do to prevent America from falling into the grips of this absolute moron, you went, yeah, okay, liberal, okay, woke. That is why it's so hard for me to have sympathy for these people, because we provided them. It's dangerous to study for an exam after you've already taken it. And we gave you the study guide. We didn't even just give you the study guide, we gave you the answers. And I say we as a non-American because I am incredibly vocal about politics. I am a politics student after all. And I wrote a research project once and the focus of it was COVID and Trump. So I have always been extremely vocal on my hatred of the Republican Party, specifically Trump, even though he's not a real Republican in my mind. Also, this is not coming from a Democrat nor a liberal. This is coming from just a left-wing individual who is situated in a different country, who is looking at this through the lens of political science, as opposed to a citizen who is choosing whether to vote for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. Something that I find super interesting is that all the comments basically on every single video about Leaving MAGA are people who are saying, I don't have any sympathy for you. I can't have any sympathy for you. And I have yet to see someone who has made one of these MAGA posts get angry at those comments, which is crazy to me. And this is going to sound like a stretch, but to me that shows that the people who are now leaving MAGA have sensibility, and that the only people who are still left in MAGA have no sensibility, have no basic comprehension, have no understanding of human emotion, human reasoning. Because if you were to get mad at people saying, I'm sorry, you've ruined my economy and my ability to get married to my partner and my ability to, have safe pregnancy, etc., etc., and you turn around and go, okay, well, you're actually really mean. You have no human comprehension and understanding of niche situations. So the fact that none of these people have turned around and said, how dare you be angry at me? How dare you not have sympathy for me? In my opinion, highlights the lack of education that diehard MAGA fans have. But also, another thing I want to talk about is the amount of people who have gone completely radio silent since posting videos celebrating Trump's win. Because all the videos of people saying, oh, I'm so happy America was sensible enough to not vote in Kamala. Oh my God, Trump won. Now that means that I can buy a house and get married in the next 4 years and that I'm going to have cheap groceries and petrol. All the comments are going, hey, it's April. How's that now? What do you think about that now? How do you feel about that now? And none of them have replied. And if they have replied, they're going, I got everything I asked for. I got everything I voted for. Life's amazing. And that just shows to me that they are heartless, selfish. And a lot of people are making statements saying like, you voted for lower grocery prices instead of human rights and now you have neither. I don't think these people know what they were voting for. I don't think they know what they're voting for. And that's not a cop-out on me saying that we can't get mad at them because they don't know what they voted for. That's actually me saying that I dislike them more because they don't know what the they voted for. I think this way about people in the UK who voted for Reform UK without knowing what they were voting for. Luckily, Reform didn't win. Touch wood. Touch wood, they never do, because I will leave and I'll go move to Ireland. They voted for Trump without knowing what they were voting for. And it didn't work out very well. I once wrote I had like a research project I was doing, and I wrote my project on media bias and the media. One of the things I looked at that was terrifying was this web page called Before It's News. I'm going to insert some of the headlines here. This fucking website is terrifying. It's also full of porn pop-up ads, but that's another story. It's terrifying, and there's like 1,000 people online every time I go and look at it. And I know some people must be there for the same reasons I'm there, which is to laugh or to do research. But I found it. This is my favorite graph of all time. This really just shows the fact that I am a politics student. This is my favorite graph of all time. It shows media bias and trustworthy news sources. And look at where Before It's News is. And this is people genuinely get their news from here. You can see the comments on these news articles of people going like, oh my God, I can't believe that's true. I can't believe that's happening. And it's like, I want to turn around and slap them in the face and say, that's not fucking happening, you absolute dimwit. But I can't do that because they're in America and I'm here, and they're only online. They only exist in my phone. But one of the reasons that I do have a tiny ounce of sympathy for these individuals is because of propaganda and the fact that it works so well on people who are uneducated. And when I say uneducated, I don't mean uneducated on politics, like they're not reading the news. I mean they haven't had the opportunity to finish school, or they have finished school and they've not pursued any further education. I am getting a bachelor's degree right now, okay? So I am an educated individual. I mean people who couldn't finish high school. Because the media that they consume, especially if you grow up in a right-wing household, the media that they consume is so biased, it's so twisted, and it's so far from the truth. And I'm not saying that that's because it's right-wing media. There are left-wing media sources that are far from the truth as well. I mean, because it's untrustworthy, but they are so public, like Fox News, for example. And because they won't look at other news sources like Al Jazeera, for example. And I highly recommend that if you ever have to look at anything about Trump, to go to Al Jazeera and Russia and Ukraine. So I do have some levels of sympathy for these people because they are uneducated, and that's not necessarily their fault. But it is also, in this day and age, with the internet and social media, not difficult to become educated on specific things like politics, like Trump, especially when they're, as I said, people are giving you the answers to the exam. To then go into the exam having only listened to the man who's trying to get you to fail isn't a very sensible idea. I'm not sure where I was going with that metaphor, but my camera died and I don't remember what I was talking about. I think what I was saying before my camera died was the media these people consume is incredibly biased, and it is difficult to differentiate like fact and fiction in these media forms. But that doesn't mean that it's impossible, because I can do it. What's bad is that people are going to Google, is Fox News biased? And then they're going to find this research paper that says it's biased. And then they're going to go, but the researcher is biased. But the researcher is lying. The researcher is a left-wing nut and it's a libtard. And it wants everyone to... It's hard to make people believe things when they don't believe the unbiased source of information. The biggest thing that I keep seeing is with Trump lying is that the grocery prices. He said he was going to bring down all the prices. What's so insane to me is that Kamala also said that, and Kamala said, hey, I'm going to bring down prices, and this is exactly how I'm going to do it, and this is exactly how it's going to work, this is exactly how much they're going to go down by, this is exactly the process that we're going to go through, this is my plan. And Trump turned around and said, I'm going to bring down prices too. And when everyone asked him how, he couldn't tell you how. Remember, he had concepts of a plan. He didn't have a plan. And for people to be like, oh, he lied to us, it's so obvious. Even if you're not educated on politics, even if you're not a Trump hater, it's still obvious to see that he was lying. And not only was he lying, but he was being stupid. He was being an idiot. He was being a moron. And those who blindly followed him were being the same. And I think that if you think that's mean... And if it's not bringing down grocery prices, another one I keep seeing is the fact that he signed an executive order to end remote work for all federal employees. And everyone's like, I have to go back to work. I regret voting for Trump. You regret voting for Trump because your life has been slightly negatively impacted and you have to go back to work. Kim, there's people that are dying. The real people who are actually leaving MAGA are only now leaving MAGA because they either realize they've been lied to, which is crazy to me, or because their lives have been negatively impacted. But the craziest part is, in both of those scenarios, in both of those situations, they had people for months and months and months turning to them and saying, hey, by the way, your life is going to be negatively impacted and you're being lied to. And only now are they realizing it. And it takes guts to walk away from something as cult-like as MAGA. It really does. But it also takes a level of stupidity to be in it in the first place. And that's why it's hard for me to have sympathy for these people, but I still will, because being uneducated isn't your fault necessarily if it's in an academic sense. Being uneducated on policies and politics and then voting is your fault, because in this day and age it's not hard to be educated on politics. And I know that's rich coming from someone who has had the ability to study politics at a high level, but I still stands. I don't know if people are coming to TikTok and expecting sympathy. I really don't know, because quite frankly, as I said, I haven't seen many people trying to argue against people who are saying they have no sympathy for them, but they are posting themselves crying on TikTok with their big splashy crocodile tears, and it's just, what has happened to my hair? Anyways, that's all I could find to bitch about today. I much prefer filming videos like this than I do filming videos about things I see on the internet that are non-political, because as I said a million times in this video, politics student, love politics, hate politics, love it. But yeah, apologies for the random jump in the middle where the camera died, but please follow my TikTok. I have a link in my TikTok bio that will send you to a massive list of UK-based petitions that range from everything from trans rights to women's rights to changes in legislation, and basically a low level of what you need to start being more political within your communities. As well as that, there is a link to a map.org website that shows you all the struggles that the people of Palestine are currently facing and have been facing throughout the occupation. But I very much hope you enjoyed listening to this video, and I will see you at a later date.